In the vastness of the galaxy, beyond the stars humans can even imagine, an ancient and technologically advanced alien empire controls countless worlds. Their ships sail through the cosmos like gods, and their soldiers are equipped with weapons and technology that could crush entire civilizations. This empire, known as the Zarkai Dominion, has existed for centuries, its power unmatched. At the center of it all is their revered queen, Zyra. She is not only their leader but their symbol of strength and wisdom. The people of the Dominion look up to her as a goddess, and she is protected by a fleet of powerful warships and elite guards. But the Zarkai are not the only force in the galaxy. A shadow looms, one that threatens to unseat their power, a primitive world called Earth. A world of war, chaos, and an unpredictable species called humans. The Zarkai have long observed Earth from afar, dismissing it as a backwater planet with no value. Humans, with their crude weapons and volatile nature, pose no threat to the vast and superior empire. But they were wrong. The story begins with Queen Zyra leading a crucial diplomatic mission to negotiate with other powerful species across the galaxy. Her ship, the Valentes, is tasked with delivering an important message. However, as the ship enters deep space, disaster strikes. Unknown forces attack, and despite the Zarkai's superior technology, their shields are breached, their weapon systems disabled. A violent firefight ensues, and Zyra's ship is critically damaged. The once mighty Valentes begins to plummet uncontrollably toward an unknown world. The planet below is Earth, hostile, primitive, and full of dangers. The Queen's ship crashes into its surface, tearing through the atmosphere at breakneck speed. Inside the ship, alarms blare as the crew and the Queen struggle to maintain control. The ship shudders and groans, its metal hull groaning under the pressure. The Queen's bodyguard and elite soldiers try their best to stabilize the ship, but it's futile. Zyra, the symbol of an entire empire, is about to be lost to a planet they thought beneath them. With a deafening crash, the ship slams into Earth's surface. The shockwave ripples across the land, knocking over trees and leaving a massive crater. Dust and debris fill the air. The ship, now broken and smoking, lies in the middle of a war-torn battlefield. The ground trembles beneath her, and Zyra struggles to regain her senses. The impact leaves her disoriented and injured, and the ship's communication system is completely destroyed. For the first time in her life, she's alone on an alien world, cut off from her empire and her people. Zyra's royal guards are too far away to reach her, and the advanced technology that could help her is rendered useless by Earth's harsh environment. Her fleet, which once patrolled the galaxy with unmatched power, cannot respond. The communication network that binds the galaxy together is down, leaving her stranded on a hostile world. The Queen, who has never known defeat, is now completely vulnerable, exposed to the unknown dangers of this primitive planet. Her once perfect armor, made of a rare alien alloy, is cracked, and her energy shield is depleted. She stumbles out of the wreckage, disoriented and bleeding. The air on Earth is thick, and the planet's gravity feels heavier than the artificial environments she's accustomed to. She takes a moment to assess her surroundings, but there's nothing familiar here, only the chaos of a world that has been torn apart by war. The Queen knows that if she doesn't act fast, she'll die. She needs to find shelter, and she needs to do it quickly. Her mind races through options, but they are all bleak. Her ship is destroyed, her bodyguard is dead, and the only way she'll survive is to rely on her wits and her remaining strength. But the planet's atmosphere is full of dangers. Earth's weather is unpredictable, and the flora and fauna could easily overpower a creature like herself. For the first time, Zyra feels fear. As she moves cautiously through the wreckage, she hears the sound of heavy footsteps approaching. Human footsteps. The militia on this planet, part of a human faction, have already spotted her crash site. They may not know who she is, but they will know that her ship is foreign, and they'll see an opportunity for their own gain. Zyra can't afford to be captured. If she is, Earth's hostile forces will imprison her, and there's no telling what their leaders will do. They may even try to kill her or use her as a pawn. The very thought of being trapped by humans, who she has always considered inferior, fills her with rage. Before she can react, a group of human soldiers bursts into the clearing. They are armed with primitive firearms, no match for her advanced weapons, but they have numbers on their side. The queen's heart races, but she knows she has no choice. She cannot fight them off in her current state. Her vision is blurred, her limbs heavy, and the sharp pain from her injuries makes it impossible to concentrate. The humans approach cautiously, eyes wide with a mix of curiosity and fear. They see a woman, alien in appearance, but somehow regal, even in her weakened state. One of the soldiers steps forward, pointing a weapon at her. "Don't move," he orders, but his voice shakes. He's never seen anything like her before. Zyra tries to speak, but her voice is weak and raspy. She opens her mouth, but the words that come out are unintelligible to them. Her situation is grim. They have the advantage now, and she is completely at their mercy. As they take her into custody, she realizes that her life is hanging by a thread. She is no longer the queen of an empire, she is just another captured alien on a hostile planet, her fate uncertain. The suspense lingers in the air. The once great queen of the Zarkai dominion is now a prisoner, surrounded by the very species she once dismissed as insignificant. Her life is in the hands of these humans, and as she is dragged away into the unknown, she wonders, will they kill her, or is there something else at play on this strange, dangerous world? In the heart of the battle-scarred earth, a young soldier named Jake races through the dense forest, his breath coming in ragged gasps. His boots crunch over the fallen leaves and dirt as the sounds of distant explosions echo through the sky. Earth is a planet in chaos, torn apart by years of war, famine, and conflict. Governments rise and fall, and the Earth's once proud cities lie in ruins, replaced by makeshift camps and broken communities. Amid this devastation, humans fight for survival. Jake is no different from many of the survivors. He was born into this harsh world, one where power lies with the strong, and the weak are crushed underfoot. There's no place for those who can't fight, no place for those who can't endure the brutal reality of this war-torn planet. The world may be on the brink of destruction, but Jake has learned to survive. He is part of a small but determined resistance group, fighting against a ruthless global government that has held humanity in its iron grip for years. The resistance is weak, small, and scattered, but they refuse to accept their fate. The government, meanwhile, has begun to recognize the growing threat of alien invaders. Over the years, several alien species have attempted to conquer Earth, believing it to be an easy target. But every time they come, they find humans more dangerous than they expected. They underestimate Earth's people, primitives, they call them, with no technology or weaponry capable of standing against a highly advanced fleet. But these aliens have never encountered the sheer grit and determination that humans possess. They've never seen what happens when humans are backed into a corner. Jake is one of those humans who refuse to give up, no matter the odds. He's not part of any high-tech military unit, nor does he wield futuristic weaponry. His body is a weapon forged by years of hardship. He spent his life learning how to survive, how to fight with nothing but his wits and basic combat skills. On Earth, technology is a luxury most people can't afford, and many of the weapons they use are cobbled together from scraps. He's never used advanced alien tech, and he's certainly never fought alongside highly trained soldiers or spacefaring races. But Jake knows one thing: survival isn't about technology, it's about the will to keep going when everything around you is falling apart. He's a product of Earth's harsh environment, a survivor of battles fought without the luxury of advanced weapons or elite training. He's learned to use what he can find, whether it's a rusty knife or an old rifle scavenged from the wreckage of past alien attacks. His combat skills are rough, but effective. He's the type of soldier who doesn't back down, who never surrenders, even when things seem impossible. And when the government cracked down harder on the resistance, Jake became one of their most valuable fighters. On this particular day, Jake is on a mission to sabotage a larger enemy force, a group of alien invaders who have landed on Earth. The enemy is strong, with advanced technology far beyond anything humanity possesses. The mission is dangerous, but Jake doesn't hesitate. He has been in situations like this before, where the odds seemed impossible. But he's never given up, and he's not about to start now. As Jake approaches the alien encampment, he moves cautiously, keeping to the shadows, his senses alert. The alien forces are preparing to launch an attack on the Resistance's base, and Jake has been given the task of slowing them down. He doesn't know exactly what he'll find, but he knows he has to act quickly. The Resistance is depending on him. Suddenly, Jake hears a strange sound, a low groan, followed by the crackling of broken metal. Curious, he follows the noise, his hand gripping his weapon. As he rounds a bend in the forest, he stops dead in his tracks. There, lying in the middle of the wreckage of what appears to be a crashed ship, is a figure, a woman. She's unlike any human he's ever seen. The woman is beautiful in an otherworldly way. Her skin is a deep shade of violet, her hair flowing like liquid silver, and her eyes glow with an eerie, golden light. She wears armor that gleams despite the dirt and destruction around her, and her posture is regal, even in the wreckage. It takes Jake a moment to realize who, or rather, what, she is, an alien queen, a member of the same alien empire that has been attacking Earth. At first, Jake is stunned. He's heard rumors of the Zarkai Dominion and their powerful queen, but he never thought he would encounter one in person. The queen, Zyra, is a high-ranking leader of the alien empire, known for her ruthlessness and power. Her race has attacked Earth countless times, bringing destruction wherever they go. To Jake, she represents everything that is wrong with the galaxy, the aliens who believe they can invade and conquer Earth without consequence. But as he approaches the wreckage, something strange happens. Jake doesn't feel fear. He feels a strange mix of awe and curiosity. The alien queen, despite her advanced status and power, looks vulnerable. She's lying there, injured and helpless, a being that once held the power to destroy worlds, now at the mercy of Earth's unpredictable environment. Her beauty, her strength, and her grace make Jake pause for a moment. Despite the fact that she's one of the enemy, he can't help but feel a sense of admiration for her. He's used to seeing aliens as enemies, as invaders to be fought and destroyed. But this alien queen is different. She's not the invader he imagined. She's a being who, like him, is just trying to survive in an unforgiving world. Jake crouches down, his eyes narrowing as he studies her closely. He knows he should leave her to die. He knows she's a threat, and if he lets her live, she'll surely bring more destruction to Earth. But something inside him refuses to let her die. This sets up an internal conflict. Jake, a human soldier, caught between his duty to Earth and his growing sense of respect for the alien queen. In that moment, an unexpected connection forms between the two, a primitive human, trying to survive in a harsh world, and a highly advanced alien queen, struggling to survive on a planet she once believed beneath her. Jake doesn't know it yet, but this encounter will change everything. The underdog, the human soldier, will become the unlikely protector of the alien queen, setting the stage for an alliance that could change the fate of both their worlds forever. In the heart of the Zarkai Dominion, the alien empire that spans across 100 worlds, the news of Queen Zyra's capture reaches the ears of King Dalan. He sits upon a massive throne, surrounded by glowing screens and elite advisors. His expression is cold, calculating, as his fingers tap rhythmically against the armrest. The king, ruler of the galaxy and one of the most powerful beings in existence, does not tolerate failure, especially not when it involves the capture of his most prized possession, his queen. The moment the news of the queen's ship crashing on Earth reaches Dalan, his rage is immediate and explosive. His eyes glow with an intense, fiery light, and his voice echoes through the command center as he orders his most trusted fleet commanders to prepare for the retrieval mission. He cannot fathom how such an event could happen. Earth, a planet so far below the standards of his empire, has managed to capture his queen. It's an insult to his power and an affront to the might of the Zarkai. Thalan's empire, with its vast fleets of highly advanced warships and weapons, has crushed countless civilizations across the galaxy. To him, humans are nothing more than primitive insects, barely worthy of consideration. He has watched from afar, dismissing Earth as a backward world full of war and strife. The human race, with its crude weapons and limited technology, poses no threat to the mighty Zarkai dominion. He's long believed that if the Zarkai ever chose to invade Earth, it would fall without a single fight. Yet now, the unimaginable has occurred. Queen Zyra, his most powerful and revered ally, has been captured by these so-called primitives. Thalan's pride is wounded, and he vows to punish Earth for this. The king orders his elite fleet to mobilize. These ships are the most advanced in the galaxy, capable of obliterating entire cities with a single strike. His plan is simple: retrieve his queen, destroy Earth, and send a message to anyone who dares to challenge the Zarkai. The king's belief in the superiority of his empire is absolute. He sees this as nothing more than a small inconvenience, a minor setback to be dealt with swiftly. To him, the humans are nothing more than savages. They may have managed to capture the queen, but he is certain that they will never be able to hold her. His forces will be there in no time, and Earth's pathetic resistance will crumble under the weight of the Zarkai's advanced technology. But what Dalan does not understand is the resilience of the human spirit. The humans of Earth may be technologically inferior, but they are survivors. They have fought against impossible odds for centuries, and their ability to adapt and fight back is something the Zarkai have yet to fully comprehend. The alien king's arrogance blinds him to the true threat that Earth poses. As Thalan's fleet prepares to launch, the king is already envisioning the destruction of Earth. He imagines the alien ships descending upon the planet, their weapons firing upon human cities, wiping out any resistance with ruthless precision. The humans will be eradicated, and the queen will be retrieved. It will be a swift and clean operation, at least, that's what Dalan believes. His plan is foolproof, in his eyes. Meanwhile, on Earth, Jake, the young human soldier, watches the skies. He has no idea that the alien king is already preparing for an invasion. What he does know is that the alien queen is still in his care, and despite the shock of discovering her identity, he's committed to protecting her. The resistance group is unaware of the full scale of the danger they're about to face. They've fought against aliens before, but nothing of this magnitude. The arrival of the Zarkai fleet will test them in ways they cannot yet imagine. The alien king, secure in his belief that humans will be crushed without a fight, underestimates the ability of Earth's people to organize and resist. He assumes that they will cower before the might of his fleet, that their primitive ways will crumble the moment they encounter the Zarkai's superior technology. To him, Earth is no more than a pitiful, insignificant planet that he can easily stamp out. But there is one thing Dalan does not account for: the tenacity of the human resistance. Jake and his fellow soldiers have fought for years against overwhelming odds. They've learned to adapt and survive. They know how to fight in the shadows, how to use their environment to their advantage. What they lack in advanced weaponry, they make up for in creativity, courage, and an unbreakable will to protect their world. Jake, having learned of the incoming alien threat, begins to realize the full scale of the situation. Earth is about to face the full force of the Zarkai fleet, and there's little chance they can hold their ground in open battle. But Jake doesn't give up. He begins to rally the resistance, urging them to prepare for the inevitable conflict. He knows that the Zarkai will underestimate them, that they will think the human race is too weak to fight back. And that, Jake believes, is exactly what will give them a chance. The humans don't have the luxury of overwhelming firepower, but they have something the Zarkai can't comprehend: the human will to survive. The resistance, though small and under-equipped, begins to make preparations for the alien invasion. They know that this will be their greatest test, an all-out battle against an alien empire with far superior technology. But Jake, along with his fellow soldiers, is determined to fight with everything they have. He believes that Earth's greatest weapon is not its weapons or technology, but its people. As the Zarkai fleet begins its journey toward Earth, the tension escalates. The alien king, oblivious to the human resistance's strength, moves forward with his plan, confident that nothing will stand in his way. But Earth's underdog fighters are already preparing for the fight of their lives. What the alien king doesn't realize is that the humans of Earth will surprise him. The stage is set for a shocking reversal, one that will change the fate of both Earth and the Zarkai Dominion forever. The weight of the situation hangs heavily on Jake's shoulders as he watches the alien queen, Zyra, recovering in a hidden safe house. The news that the Zarkai fleet is on its way to Earth, bent on wiping out the planet and retrieving their queen, has only fueled Jake's determination. He knows that humanity is facing the end of everything, and that this mission, rescuing the queen, could be their one chance at turning the tide in the war. The Zarkai's power is overwhelming, and the odds of Earth surviving a full-scale invasion are slim at best. But Jake has seen the strength of the human spirit, and he knows that with the right tactics, the humans can surprise even the most advanced alien forces. Jake spends the night planning, going over maps of the terrain and familiarizing himself with the alien tech he has scavenged from the wreckage of fallen ships. He knows the enemy's weaknesses, he's studied their patterns and tactics, and he knows Earth's terrain better than anyone. He has an advantage that the aliens don't, his home field. The dense forests, abandoned cities, and hidden bunkers give him countless places to hide and strike from. As a member of the human resistance, Jake has honed his skills in guerrilla warfare, using hit-and-run tactics to weaken the enemy. But this mission is different. It's not just about survival, it's about defying the overwhelming force of the alien empire. The plan is dangerous, but Jake is willing to risk everything. He has no illusions about the difficulties he will face. The Queen is heavily guarded by alien forces, and their technology is far superior to anything humans have ever seen. But Jake knows that he must act quickly. The Zarkai fleet is almost within striking distance of Earth, and time is running out. At dawn, Jake gathers his makeshift gear, everything from cloaking devices to energy weapons scavenged from the wreckage of previous battles. The cloaking device, while not perfect, will help him remain unseen long enough to slip past the alien patrols. He straps on a combat knife and a small plasma rifle, knowing that close-quarters combat will be inevitable. With his heart pounding in his chest, he moves out, blending into the shadows as he heads toward the location where the Queen is being held. The journey is perilous. Alien patrols are everywhere, and their soldiers are unlike any human force Jake has ever encountered. They are tall, armored in advanced exosuits, and armed with devastating energy weapons. Their ability to detect even the smallest disturbances in the air or ground makes them a formidable threat. But Jake is used to working in the shadows. He knows how to move quietly and efficiently. Using the cloaking device, he slips past the first patrol, his heart racing as he holds his breath, praying they won't detect him. As he nears the area where the Queen is being held, Jake sees the alien camp, a makeshift fortress surrounded by high-tech barriers and guarded by dozens of alien soldiers. The Queen is inside, but she is heavily guarded. Jake knows that getting to her will not be easy. The only chance he has is to strike fast and hard, taking the enemies by surprise. Jake pulls out a small device he's modified from alien tech, a grenade-like weapon with a timer that will disable the camp's shields for a short period of time. He places it near the perimeter, activating the device and silently backing away. As the timer ticks down, he prepares himself for the battle ahead. He can hear the patrols moving around him, unaware of the danger that's about to hit them. The seconds seem to stretch into eternity. Finally, the timer goes off, and the shields flicker and deactivate for just a moment. In that brief window, Jake moves. With speed and precision, he uses his knowledge of the terrain and the alien tech to infiltrate the camp. He strikes quickly, silently taking out the first few guards with quick, deadly blows. His plasma rifle hums to life as he fires, the energy beams taking down enemies before they even realize what's happening. The alien soldiers are strong, but they're not prepared for a human who knows how to fight with stealth and speed. Inside the camp, Jake finds the Queen. She is imprisoned in a high-tech containment cell, surrounded by force fields and alien machinery. Despite her injuries, she stands tall, her regal bearing unbroken. She eyes Jake warily as he approaches, his presence surprising her. The sight of the human soldier, so small, so seemingly insignificant compared to her advanced race, puzzles her. How is it that this primitive creature has managed to infiltrate her captor's stronghold? "Why are you doing this?" she asks, her voice strong despite her weakened state. There is a moment of confusion in her eyes, mixed with disbelief. The idea of a human risking everything to save her, a powerful queen of the Zarkai Dominion, seems impossible. She has fought countless battles, and she has never once seen a human act like this, determined, unafraid, and willing to sacrifice so much for someone like her. Jake doesn't answer her directly. Instead, he takes out the key to her cell, a device he scavenged from the wreckage of the alien ships, and quickly disables the force field. He steps back as the Queen moves out of the cell, her strength slowly returning as the adrenaline of the situation kicks in. For the first time, the Queen looks at Jake with a new understanding. Her initial surprise fades, replaced by a sense of respect. This human, who should have been terrified, has shown more bravery and resourcefulness than most of the Zarkai warriors she has known. She is a queen, a being of immense power, but in this moment, she feels gratitude toward the very species she once believed was beneath her. This primitive human has just done the impossible, he has saved her, against all odds. Jake doesn't wait for her to thank him. The mission isn't over yet. He knows they have to move fast before the alien forces realize what's happened. He leads the Queen through the camp, taking out more guards as they go, his every movement deliberate. The tension is palpable as they make their escape, the sound of alien soldiers shouting and firing in the distance. But Jake is focused. He's done this before. He knows how to escape, how to survive. As they break free from the camp and head towards safety, the Queen, once so high above the human race, finds herself depending on a human for her life. And Jake, the soldier who was once just a small part of Earth's resistance, has become an unlikely hero, the one person capable of changing the fate of both their worlds. The air is thick with tension as Jake leads the alien queen, Zyra, through the winding corridors of an underground bunker hidden deep within Earth's war-torn landscape. He knows that time is running out. The sky above is filled with the ominous shadow of the Zarkai fleet, its massive ships scanning the planet for any sign of their lost queen. The fleet is relentless, and their technology is far more advanced than anything humanity has. But Jake is determined. He knows the hidden paths, the secret bases, places where Earth's resistance forces have laid low for years, surviving against all odds. It is here that they will hide and plan their next move. Jake's heart races as he checks the ground-level sensors. The bunker is secure, for now. The thick concrete walls are a shield against the advanced alien tech, and the hidden tunnels that lead deeper into Earth's subterranean network are a perfect escape route. Jake had spent years learning the secret locations and military tactics of the Resistance, and now, those skills were keeping the Queen safe. She is fragile, weak from her injuries, but her eyes are sharp, alert, and filled with questions about the human soldier who has risked so much for her life. Once inside the bunker, Jake gets to work. He makes sure that the Queen is comfortable in a small room, far from the entrance. The sounds of distant alien ships echo through the ground above, but Jake doesn't allow himself to relax. He knows they can't stay here forever. The aliens are closing in, and it's only a matter of time before they discover this hidden base. As the days pass, Zyra's strength begins to return. She's not used to being vulnerable, but in this strange, primitive world, she has no choice. Slowly, the walls she has built up begin to come down. She watches Jake as he moves around the bunker, ensuring their safety, training the other resistance fighters, and preparing for the inevitable clash with the Zarkai. His focus and determination are unlike anything she has seen in her own empire. He's not just a soldier, he's a symbol of everything the Zarkai Empire has failed to understand, the power of human resilience. Zyra begins to realize that humans, despite their seemingly primitive technology and lack of advanced weaponry, possess a strength that her empire has long overlooked. They have something more valuable than powerful fleets or advanced technology. They have willpower, resourcefulness, and the ability to fight in ways that no one can predict. It's a strength she never saw coming, and it shakes her perception of the galaxy. Her own empire, the mighty Zarkai, had ruled with an iron fist, crushing civilizations beneath them, assuming their power was unmatched. But now, as she watches Jake move with purpose, training the resistance forces with human combat techniques, she sees something in him that she hadn't expected: respect for humanity's will to survive. One evening, as Jake sits with her, teaching her basic hand-to-hand combat moves, she speaks. "Your people fight differently," Zyra observes, her voice tinged with admiration. "You don't rely solely on strength or technology. It's something else." Jake pauses, wiping the sweat from his brow as he looks at her. "We fight for what we believe in," he says simply. "And when we have nothing left, we fight for each other." It's a simple sentiment, but it means everything to Zyra. She's lived in a world where survival was about power, where weakness was punished. And yet, here she is, saved by one of the species she thought was insignificant. Jake's words linger in her mind as she contemplates the vast difference between their two worlds. For the first time, she begins to see Earth not as a mere planet, but as a place of strength, of hope. As the Queen continues to heal and train with Jake, their bond begins to grow. She teaches him about Zarkai technology, their fleet's tactics, and what to expect from their next wave of attacks. She explains that the Zarkai, despite their vast empire, are not infallible. There are weaknesses in their chain of command, and certain factions within the empire may be open to change. This knowledge gives Jake and the resistance hope, but it also places them in greater danger. If the Zarkai learn of Zyra's alliance with the humans, it could spell doom for them all. But as the Queen heals, not everyone is pleased with her presence among the humans. Within Jake's group, there is growing suspicion. Some of the resistance members begin to question whether they can trust an alien queen, especially one who was once a symbol of the empire that enslaved many worlds. They argue that Zyra may be manipulating them, using their trust as a means to further her own empire's interests. One night, as Jake sits in the command center, one of his fellow soldiers, Kira, approaches him with a worried expression. "Jake," she says, lowering her voice, "I don't trust her. You've seen what her people did to our world. You can't just forget that because she's being nice to us now." Jake looks at Kira, his face hardening. He knows the history, the devastation the Zarkai have caused to Earth and countless other planets. But he also knows that Zyra has risked everything to escape her empire. "She's not the enemy anymore," Jake says firmly. "She's trying to help us, and we need her." Kira shakes her head. "You don't know that. What if this is all part of some Zarkai scheme? What if she's just using you?" Jake's jaw clenches, and for a moment, he's silent. He understands the fear and suspicion that runs through the ranks. But he can't turn his back on the Queen now. Not after everything they've been through. He trusts her. "She's not the enemy," Jake repeats, his voice low but filled with conviction. "And we need to stop thinking like we're the only ones in this fight." The conversation leaves a bitter taste in the air. Kira walks away, leaving Jake alone to contemplate the growing distrust within his own ranks. There is a rift forming, one that could tear the fragile alliance apart. As tensions rise, Zyra senses the change in the air. She's aware of the whispers, the glances that follow her whenever she enters a room. The humans don't fully trust her, and some are outright hostile. It's a reminder that no matter how much she has come to respect Jake and his people, they still see her as the enemy. A queen of the Zarkai Empire, a symbol of the very force that has oppressed them for so long. But Jake's unwavering belief in her keeps her from despairing. Their bond grows stronger with every passing day, built on the shared understanding that they are fighting for the survival of their worlds, and that their alliance is their only hope. As the Zarkai fleet closes in, Earth's last chance at survival lies in the hands of an unlikely alliance, a primitive human soldier and an alien queen who once thought the humans were nothing more than a footnote in the galaxy's history. Together, they will fight for freedom, but their greatest battle may not be against the alien empire, but against the distrust and betrayal that could tear them apart from within. The skies above Earth darken as the massive alien fleet approaches. The air is thick with tension, and the resistance forces can feel the weight of the impending destruction. In the command center deep underground, Jake and Zyra stand side by side, looking at the large screens that display the approaching fleet. The Queen's injuries have healed, and she is no longer the fragile alien they once protected. She stands tall, her presence commanding respect, but her eyes are filled with a quiet resolve. On the other side of the galaxy, the alien king, Zyra's ruthless ruler, is beyond furious. His fleet has been humiliated. His queen, the very symbol of his empire's power, was captured by these primitive humans, and now she has become the focus of their rebellion. His rage has reached a boiling point. He cannot allow this insult to go unpunished. The mere thought of Earth surviving this conflict is unacceptable to him. The king issues a decree that sends shockwaves across the galaxy. He personally commands the fleet to move toward Earth, with one purpose: to erase it from existence. No matter the cost, no matter the lives lost, Earth will be destroyed. His warships, controlled by AI and armed with weapons of unimaginable power, begin their descent toward the planet. The fleet is vast, hundreds of ships, all poised for orbital bombardment. They will scorch the planet's surface, wipe out the human resistance, and recover the Queen. There will be no mercy. Back on Earth, Jake feels the weight of the king's anger. He knows that the fate of his world rests on his shoulders now, more than ever. He gathers his fellow soldiers, his fellow humans who have fought so hard for this moment, and prepares them for the final battle. The resistance has trained and prepared, but facing an alien empire with such power seems like an impossible task. But Jake isn't ready to give up. Not now. Not when they have come so far. Listen up. Jake shouts, rallying his troops. This is it. We've come this far, and we're not going to let them destroy our homes, our families. We fight for Earth. We fight for everything we believe in. They think they can destroy us, show them how wrong they are. The resistance, though outnumbered and outgunned, roars in agreement. The human spirit is unshakable, and for the first time, the soldiers feel like they have a real chance. But this is no longer just a fight for survival. This is a fight for dignity. A fight for revenge. Zyra steps forward, her voice calm but full of authority. I know the Zarkai, their tactics, and their weaknesses. They believe they are unbeatable, but they are not invincible. We may not have their technology, but we have something they cannot understand: our will to fight. The Queen's words hit home. The soldiers, once unsure of her, now look to her for guidance. She may have been their enemy in the past, but now she is their ally. Together, they form an unlikely but powerful force. The Queen shares her knowledge of the Zarkai's fleet, their vulnerabilities, and their weaknesses. She reveals the secret to breaking through their AI-controlled warships, a weakness that can turn the tide of battle in their favor. The final confrontation is fast approaching. Above, the alien king's fleet is nearly in orbit, ready to unleash a devastating bombardment. The Resistance's last hope is to disable the enemy fleet and stop the destruction before it begins. Time is running out. In a hidden underground base, the human forces prepare their weapons, blasters, makeshift EMP devices, and hacked alien technology. They've learned to use what little they have, but this will be their greatest test. They can't match the Zarkai in firepower, but they can use their ingenuity. They can't fight the king's fleet head-on, but they can outsmart it. Jake looks at Zyra, who is studying the tactical maps with intense focus. "We're going to need your help," he says. "We can't do this alone." Zyra nods, her eyes filled with determination. "I will do whatever it takes to stop the king. We will win. Not because we are stronger, but because we have the will to survive." As the resistance forces move into position, Jake and Zyra lead the charge. They know that this is more than just a military mission. This is humanity's last stand. As they climb into their makeshift fighters, ready to engage in combat, the sky above is filled with the terrifying sight of the alien fleet, massive and looming. The stars are blotted out by their ships, and the weight of the coming battle presses down on Earth like a storm cloud ready to break. In the vastness of space, the alien king's flagship, the Leviathan, looms large as it prepares to strike. The king watches from his command center, his face a mask of fury. He is confident, believing that his fleet will crush the humans without difficulty. The human resistance is nothing compared to his empire's might. But as he watches the approaching fighters, something shifts in his expression. There is something about the human forces that has changed since the last time he faced them. They are not the same frightened, primitive species he thought they were. They are fighting with a desperate, burning determination that the king cannot fathom. As the battle begins, the sky above Earth erupts into chaos. The alien fleet rains down fire on the planet's surface, sending shockwaves through the ground. But the resistance is ready. Jake and Zyra, working together, use the Queen's advanced knowledge of the Zarkai to exploit the fleet's weaknesses. They launch a counterattack that takes the aliens by surprise. The EMP devices, combined with the guerrilla tactics the humans have honed, begin to disable the alien ships one by one. The Zarkai, used to overwhelming force, are caught off guard by the humans' ingenuity and tenacity. The alien king watches in disbelief as his fleet begins to fall. His anger reaches new heights, and he orders his warships to fire everything they have at the humans. But it's too late. The resistance is already turning the tide. Jake's voice crackles through the comms as he coordinates the final assault. "This is it. We're taking them down." With Zyra's help, the final blow is struck. The king's flagship, the Leviathan, is crippled by a precise strike from the human fighters, and the alien fleet begins to retreat. The king's arrogance has cost him dearly. His once invincible empire is now facing the wrath of the underdogs. As the dust settles and the alien king's fleet retreats, the humans stand victorious. Earth has been saved, not by superior technology, but by the unyielding spirit of its people and their unexpected alliance with the alien queen. The king may have thought Earth was no match for his empire, but in the end, it was the humans who proved that no one can ever underestimate them. The final battle rages above Earth, a sight unlike any the planet has ever seen. In the skies, massive alien ships exchange fire with the human resistance, their weapons blazing like streaks of fire across the heavens. Below, the Earth trembles from the shockwaves of battle, but the humans, driven by a fierce determination, fight with everything they have. This is not just a fight for survival, it's a fight for freedom. Jake, the young human soldier, and Zyra, the once proud alien queen, fight side by side, an unlikely pair whose bond has grown through battle and mutual respect. They move in sync, their differences no longer important. They are united by a common goal, to protect Earth from destruction and to take down the alien king. The air is thick with tension as Jake maneuvers his fighter through the chaos, dodging blasts from alien warships. The sound of explosions fills his ears, but he keeps his focus on the mission at hand. The alien fleet is vast, and their technology far outmatches the primitive human ships. Yet, Jake feels something that the Zarkai do not: hope. Beside him, Zyra uses her immense knowledge of galactic warfare to guide their attack. She can see the weaknesses in the alien fleet that Jake cannot. Using their stolen alien tech, the humans launch coordinated strikes, targeting the Zarkai warship's critical systems, weaknesses only Zyra knows about. With her guidance, the resistance begins to push back the alien forces. But even as the tide turns, the alien king, watching from his flagship, remains determined to destroy Earth. His rage is palpable, and he orders his fleet to begin the final bombardment, intending to wipe out the human resistance in one fell swoop. From the ground, humans watch in horror as the skies darken with the approaching alien fire. It's clear, the king believes this will be the end of humanity. As the alien warships close in, Jake and Zyra make a daring move. They break through the enemy lines, using cloaking technology and stealth tactics to approach the alien king's flagship, the Leviathan. The massive ship is a symbol of the Zarkai's overwhelming power, and within it, the king plans his final strike against Earth. But Jake and Zyra have one final card to play. They land on the hull of the Leviathan, and with a combination of human ingenuity and alien technology, they make their way into the heart of the ship. Every step they take is fraught with danger, alien soldiers patrol the corridors, and the ship's AI defenses are relentless. But Jake, with his knowledge of guerrilla tactics, leads the way, while Zyra uses her abilities to hack into the ship's systems, disabling its defenses. As they reach the central control room, the Queen's eyes flash with determination. She has one chance to turn the tide. With the last of her strength, she activates a device she secretly modified, a fail-safe she planted in the ship's core when she was first captured. The device is set to trigger a catastrophic overload in the Leviathan's main reactor, but she knows it's a gamble. If she doesn't get it right, they'll all be killed. Do it now, Zyra. Jake urges, his voice urgent. The Queen nods, her fingers flying over the control panel. Her alien knowledge of galactic warfare, once considered a tool of destruction, is now being used for Earth's survival. She knows the ship's systems inside and out, how to exploit its weaknesses, how to manipulate the energy sources to trigger a meltdown. The countdown begins. The alien king, unaware of the peril facing his flagship, watches from his command center. He's sure of victory. The humans will be crushed beneath the weight of his fleet, and Earth will burn. But as the countdown reaches its final moments, he feels a sudden shift in the air. Something is wrong. Back on the Leviathan, Zyra and Jake make their escape, knowing that the ship will soon erupt in an explosion of unimaginable proportions. As they race back toward their fighter, the alien fleet begins to fall apart. Ships that were once invulnerable are now helpless against the Resistance's relentless attacks. The Queen's sabotage has caused a chain reaction that disables the fleet's weapon systems and shields. The Zarkai, unable to regroup in time, begin to retreat. The alien king, realizing that his flagship is in danger, orders a retreat, but it's too late. The Leviathan shudders and then explodes in a brilliant burst of light. The shockwave ripples through space, knocking out several other ships in the fleet. The once powerful armada begins to crumble, its unity shattered. The resistance forces, inspired by the Queen's courage and the human soldiers' determination, launch their final attack. They target the weakened alien ships, picking them off one by one. The tide has turned. The human soldiers, once the underdogs, are now the ones who hold the power. Back on Earth, the human resistance celebrates their hard-won victory. The alien king, defeated and humiliated, retreats with the remnants of his fleet. He can't comprehend how his once unstoppable empire has been reduced to a fleeing force. He thought the humans were nothing more than primitive insects, but now, they've proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. Jake and Zyra stand together, looking at the skies above. The battle is over, and Earth is safe, for now. The Queen, her once proud posture now softened with gratitude, turns to Jake. "You were right," she says quietly. "You humans are not what I thought. You are strong, resilient, and worthy of standing alongside the greatest races in the galaxy." Jake looks at her, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. We fight for freedom. We fight for what's ours. And we'll keep fighting, as long as we have to. The Queen nods, her respect for the humans clear. Perhaps there is more to this universe than I ever understood. Perhaps Earth's place among the stars has only just begun. With the alien king retreating and the fleet in disarray, humanity stands victorious. Not only have they saved their planet, but they've also shown the galaxy that they are not to be underestimated. They have proved that strength doesn't always come from advanced technology or powerful armies. Sometimes, the greatest power lies in the heart of the underdog, the human spirit. As Jake and Zyra share a moment of quiet understanding, they know that this victory is just the beginning. A new era is dawning, and humanity's place in the galaxy has been secured. The future is uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, Earth has hope.